Hello, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Here I am. Hope everyone's good out there. It's a nice day here. We were supposed to get all kinds of snow and rain, but we've had sun in the past week. Let me see what the temperature is today. I just took out a bunch of garbage. There's a little bit of snow covering the surface of the road, but it's 5 degrees Celsius, which is 41 Fahrenheit. And it looks like we're going to have sun all week long and in the 40s. So it's not been very winterish here at all this year. I'm not complaining. I'm just a little bit disconcerted. Compared to Ontario, where we moved here from a little over 10 years ago, they got really blasted this week. Yeah, they got slammed. Hold on. Hey, TV2. Sorry I didn't make your stream again last night. Know how it is. With so much shit going on, can only take so much. Not that you're shit. I didn't mean it to sound that way. You know what I mean? I miss a lot of people's streams, don't worry. And none of them are shit. So, yeah, I was going to show Ontario. What is this? Split view makes it easier to multitask. Remind me later. Okay, yeah, all right, remind me later. Oh, it's just a football yap, okay. Yeah, that's shit to me. I don't know. Am I on the right? I might be using the wrong StreamYard here. Well, I guess I can share it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Miker. Oh no! Do not say that name, please, Mike. Really.
Oh, having a hard time. I'm going to work. I'm going to be late.
So take a look out your window. A significant winter storm is bearing down on southern Ontario this morning. Here's a look at conditions across some of our highways in the GTA. The region could see some of the biggest snowfall totals so far this season, between 20 and 30 centimeters. So, of course, that makes for a very slow, potentially hazardous commute. Sudden temperature drops, strong wind gusts, blowing snow, and possible whiteout conditions, all possible over the course of this morning. So if you have to be on the road, allow yourself plenty of extra time to get to your destination. We have a lot of closures and cancellations to report on the school bus front. Megan King is at Victoria Park Avenue and Highway 401 with the latest on conditions. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Candace. Yeah, as you can see around me here, it is definitely a snowy morning. It's going to be a hard one for people making the morning commute. Definitely a slow one. We're just off of the highway here at one of the exits. And let me tell you, on those roadways, it continues to be very slow. As a result, the TTC has activated its winter weather plan and the city has snowplows and salt trucks deployed as people start their commutes to work. The city warns people that if travel is necessary, they should take it slow on roadways, leave extra time and consider public transit. Sidewalks and roadways are slippery. and there will definitely be delays for people coming in. Plenty of time on those roads. Road safety will be most important today. So here's what OPP is recommending drivers to consider.
Well, you know, recommend drivers that don't know how to drive in snow stay the fuck home. But on less humorous note about icy conditions, ZTO just put out a video. I just got it in my email. I haven't looked at it yet, but they're saying, why is ICE behaving more like the military in Israel right now? Okay. Why is it not playing? I can't get it to play now. Okay, just a second. Let me see.
Hard not to see the parallels. The violence, the in-your-face laundering of their victims, and the self-victimization of themselves. Take the murder of Renee Nicole Good. The administration is demanding that you believe something that's completely different from what you can see with your own two eyes. They accuse her of
terrorism
and say that she
weaponized her vehicle
and that she was stalking agents who then feared for their lives. ICE is behaving how Israel does every time they kill a Palestinian child, doctor, journalist, or parent. We describe it simply. Every accusation is a confession. Everything ICE has done before and after killing Renee Good make the parallels almost too hard to ignore. For one, both the Israeli army and ICE are unimaginably violent, often unprovoked. Both have a knack for ramming people's cars or pulling people out of them, brutally arresting and assaulting common people as if they're dangerous threats, and blocking doctors or ambulances from reaching their victims. Both also act as completely unaccountable occupying forces. In Palestine, Israeli soldiers oversee a vicious apartheid system. In the US, masked agents demand people's papers, beat up kids at Target, and march around towns as if they're scoping out another country for the US to attack. And then there's the rhetoric. In addition to smearing victims as terrorists, they both build pretexts to justify even more violence, even against kids. Both, after acting in a way that causes any normal person to be outraged, then howl that they're the ones with the right to defend themselves.
That guy acted in self-defense.
Right, in self-defense.
Both use propaganda videos to not just lie, but completely reframe reality.
ICE agents and CBP officers that are out on our streets doing God's work live in these communities.
And both are pouring millions into influencing you and keeping the violence coming. And finally, there's the links between US and Israeli agencies, security partnerships and cooperation agreements, synergy and admiration between their border walls, sharing the same weapons and surveillance suppliers. There's even an ICE office in Tel Aviv. It's all so similar for a reason. If the people in power saw how tolerant we were to send our tax dollars to help Israel occupy and carry out a genocide in Palestine, some of those same tactics were bound to come home. Violence we support or even tolerate elsewhere only tarnishes our own soul, and it makes it all the more likely it'll come back to be used against all of us. That's right, including you.
Hiya, Brina. Good to see you. Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Yeah, the parallels are there. And I saw something today too, but some Republican thing posted about, oh, well, you know, all those protesters, anti-Israel, pro-Palestine protesters, now that Iran is cracking down on protesters, where are they? It's crickets. But We're not allies with Iran, and we don't fund their military. Like, Jesus. You want out of the country? Yeah, I don't blame you. And I bet they do close the borders both ways. Well, yeah, lots of yuck. And they're sending in 1,500 paramilitary now into Minneapolis because more troops means more peace. Fucker really wants that Insurrection Act and martial law to cancel elections. I don't know what to say. Except I had a thought about, how to fight back beyond just protesting on the street and with pickets and whistles and whatnot. I mean, get convoys organized and crowd the streets in the communities they're targeting. I mean, there's got to be other ways. No, Brina, definitely not turning into America, turning as far away from America as we possibly can get, including to former foes and still suspect China and Qatar. More on that later. I have a script I'm going to put out tonight. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the Black Panthers, standing up in their communities. They've been, doing so much good in their communities, and good on them. Let me see. Woke Black Panther vows war on ice. We'll take you down. Shocking footage. That's from a right winger. And from the left wing, it's Trump's ISIS met their match. Black Panthers return. Terrified cops flee when they spot the Black Panthers. Hang on. Even that shit stain that went to Minneapolis to agitate, it was 2 black dudes that ushered him out of there, kept him safe. Hey, Jim. Bree wants out of the country. Mike wants out of the NHL base. I want Terry Hatcher to drop the restraining order. I don't know. I don't know how you can find it out, but you can certainly investigate. And if you have a former family member who was a Canadian citizen, you can apply for Canadian citizenship. Okay, hang on. Let me get this video playing.
You know, it's going to be a long slog, but resistance to Trump's ICE goon squad is growing in so many different ways. From the halls of Congress.
This morning, I introduced articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
To the streets of targeted cities.
What the hell are you doing with them? You can't put hands on people like that.
Stand back, sir. Federal operation.
I'm NYPD. Badge right here. I'm an officer of law, too. What you're doing is illegal.
On our featured video today, a very direct message to ICE comes from a group we haven't really heard from since the 1960s. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, and hit that subscribe button if this just makes your blood boil.
Yes, you are required to. Where are you safe? Look, sir, you're going to do this the easy way, or are we going to take you in? You cannot take me in.
Yes,
I'm
I can.
Private.
Yes, I can.
Do
you have documentation?
I do have my documentation.
You present it to me.
Why
please.
are you asking me for my paperwork?
Because of your accent.
I still, you have an accent too.
Where were you born, sir?
Where were you born at?
Put your hands behind your back.
Yeah, well, the puffed up pseudo tough guys in ICE might just want to think twice about showing up in Philly anytime soon, because in our featured story today, well, we're going to show you the badass reception they'll get from a resurrected group that counts Huey Newton and Bobby Seals among its founders. It's the next generation of the Black Panthers,
Free
and
up.
it is reforming. Now, wait till you see the message they're sending to ICE. It is our featured clip, a must-see response to this.
What you just saw was a federal immigration agent pushing an unidentified protester into oncoming traffic after appearing to block their vehicle.
They just fired off a tear gas canister.
And here, another violent clash between Border Patrol agents and an anti-ICE protester who appeared to swat an agent's hand away while recording an immigration enforcement operation. These moves coming on the heels of an explosive week for ICE. Their aggressive tactics only seem to be escalating. Last week, tensions between ICE and protesters erupted when a woman in Minneapolis was shot and killed by an ICE agent. DHS officials claimed the shooting was self-defense. Despite the nationwide scrutiny, ICE, 2025, Oregon state officials released a video.
Other oppressed communities. Well, what was timely in '66 is just as vital today. And in our featured story, it's an incredible piece of video. It's a message from the Black Panthers to ICE. And it's just what we need to hear today. They're Black and they're back and they mean business.
No ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's gonna happen. They touch me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, come around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig? Carry bigger guns and we don't take places where there are a lot of immigrants at. I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't gonna act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. That means them shotgun shells that shoot out of a pump, they shoot them rapidly. If you are going to legally arm yourself with something bigger than what they got. Those who serve in the public, they should be fearful of the public. They should be fearful that the public is going to be dissatisfied with their job that they're doing, not feeling like they're tyrants, not feeling like they're bullies because they got guns and body armor and walkie-talkies. That makes them immune to whatever the people would do. I think you want to correct the ideology of the pig and the mentality of the slave catcher. You meet them with equal force. All power to the people. No power to the pig.
Well, the good news is resistance comes in many forms. Now, check out these citizens last night in Minneapolis pulling a defiance all-nighter. You know, I think my favorite bit of video, viral ICE video, pelting the internet right now is from New York City. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Well, that's what these ICE agents found out firsthand last night. Please like, share, and by all means, take care. Batter up.
That's good. Oh, God, I love New York. Yeah, exactly, Mike. They want you mad and unhinged and feeling helpless. You have to pick up your courage where you can. Just one small act of defiance leads to another. What's this? I'm sorry, you guys. I'm really high. I got these new gummies this week, and they kicked in like 10 minutes ago. I'm distracted as hell. You guys got anything you want to share before I go off on a tangent? Patty Wax. Brina has a resting bitch face. Oh, come on now. Yeah, you can go to the library to check where your ancestors lived. Right on. Their archives. Does anybody want to join me on audio or on screen or anything? Trump rages at horrible new video that just went viral. Greenland citizens just sent Trump running. Let's look at this one.
To the would-be dictator. And a member of the Danish parliament just used a word so strong he instantly got censored by the MS Now host who is interviewing him, and I have both stories for you next. I'm Dan, and welcome to another Occupy Democrats Report. To see all of our videos highlighting the world pushing back on Trump's aggression and lawlessness.
Stephen Miller had to say. Please take a listen to this. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Denmark is a tiny country to control.
Not going to listen to that.
Everything Stephen Miller had to say before I asked this question. But if you could say one thing to Stephen Miller, what would you like to say?
I hope he's kept away from young women, because that's the mentality of a rapist. You can't defend yourself, so I'm going to take you. That's basically what he's saying. And it has never been like that in international law that he's saying. On the contrary, the United States have signed several treaties with Denmark recognizing the ownership. One of them was in 1917. Actually, to see the painting right behind my shoulder here, those men that you can just see there, they sold the Virgin Islands to the Americans in 1917. Part of that deal was you get the Virgin Islands and you recognize full Danish control over Greenland. So it has never been the U.S. position that we don't have a right to Greenland. They signed several treaties, and the entire world voted for Greenland's full integration into Denmark in 1954 in the UN Plenary Assembly in New York, including the United States. So this is a new position from the American government, and we have to be able to trust the promises, the words, and the alliances that we make with the Americans, because otherwise it's not worth anything being an ally of the Americans. And I think it's very crucial that we stay together because our alliance, our partnership has kept us safe. U.S. administration is saying they don't want their adversaries to take over Greenland. But please don't make Europe your adversaries. We don't want that.
All right, Rasmus, I will say that there was a very harsh analogy that you made there at the top of this answer. I understand that is your opinion and the analogy you wanted to make. I will say that we don't share in that opinion here at MS Now, but I do appreciate your conversation overall and all of the points that you have made. Thank you so much.
The screaming in her ear. You have to say something or else. Wow. Don't listen to him. Miller is nuts. And ice groped a woman it was discussing. Yeah, well, yeah. I saw that the ICE agent go into the porta potty with her. That was very inappropriate. I don't know what happened inside there, but he never should have been going inside there with her. 2001 treaty, TV2 says the U.S. could have any of the bases they want. You still got bases there. They're empty. You've only got like 200 soldiers there right now. And people are laughing, saying, oh, the UK only sent over one, and there's only 35 soldiers from this country, and ha, 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 they're a joke. Buddy, you do not understand, you bunch of Russian bots. And people are saying, where is Canada? Europe is sending all these troops. Where is Canada? Canada just already opened a consulate there, and we've already got a presence there year-round with our Nordic partners. So Canada is there and has been there. Wow. The amount of misinformation and disinformation, but most of the consensus is what the fuck, and that would be the worst thing in the world for him to do. It would crush the US. Trump wants to divvy up the world with Putin and Xi. Yeah, we know about the new axis of evil and the spheres of influence that they want to dominate, but they're desperate. And Xi is in the middle. He's playing it, like they usually do. They're going to go with whoever the strongest power is that emerges after all this. And Carney is right to go over there and plant himself firmly in the driver's or co-pilot seat. Angela! But I'll be talking more about Carney and China and Qatar and all that later. How you doing, Angela? How's the winter going? Maybe she wants a. Wait a minute. Are you talking about Mrs. Miller and Elon? Well, sorry, Jim. Neither of them have hair. Elon's is as fake as Donald's. Maybe more so. You're hanging in snowy today, fighting ice. Fuck ice. Darlene, can't you see me? Hey girl, I'm right here. Maybe you're lagging behind and you're watching one of the videos I played. I don't know. 60 Minutes will air this segment that was taking off or taken off. Okay. I heard they got threatened by Lion Lips Levitt to if they dare to edit his interview, that they'll sue the ass off them. That's almost a direct quote. Wax says France and Ukraine gave Trump disinformation to see if he would pass it on to Putin, and he, it went to him right away. Darlene, try refreshing. Yeah, Switzerland is done with him. Good Lord. So the original one that he was suing over, Mike, they're going to play that? Oh, I'm so confused. $420-ish. Trump's day erupts as the UK drops Epstein bombshell. No more Toblerone for you. Okay, now you can see me. Okay, good. When the Swiss are done with you, you know you fucked up big time. Yep. Canada too. When Canada's done with you.
Because while Donald Trump is causing distraction fires all over the world, from Greenland to Iceland to Canada to Venezuela to ICE and everything else, he simply can't escape the Epstein file controversy and the issue, because the UK and the royal family in this breaking story just won't let him off the hook. And I'm going to show that story to you in a few seconds. But let's bear in mind that the core of this is Trump's buddy, Prince Andrew, you know, this guy.
Since he was born, the second son of the late Queen Elizabeth, brother of the king, has been known as Prince Andrew, but no longer.
It's monumental what the king has done.
For more than a decade, Andrew has been under scrutiny for his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein.
And here's Jeffrey in his deposition being really crafty.
You ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump? Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question.
Trump says things out loud that are stone cold lie because he knows his photos. Prince and
normally people who are acted almost with the
royal title by his brother King Charles. Here.
He has acted almost with the determination of a medieval monarch in separating his brother Andrew from all elements of title and style that normally people who are born into the royal family keep.
Tonight, a withering statement from Buckingham Palace stripping Andrew of his prince title.
And Trump always trying to play the empathetic, sympathetic. He doesn't have those two genes, by the way,
I feel very badly. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's happened to the family. That's been a tragic situation.
And Andrew gets evicted.
And that he'll be evicted from his royal residence, a 30-room estate called Royal Lodge.
And yes, in this breaking story, tragic as it may be, Prince Andrew's daughter, Eugenie, she said, bye-bye. Check this breaking story out. Massive.
Princess Eugenie cuts ties with Father Andrew over links to Epstein.
Oh my.
Princess Eugenie has cut off all contact with her father, ex-Prince Andrew, following the recent revelations about his connections with Jeffrey Epstein, the Mail on Sunday reports. The paper says Andrew is devastated by the rupture with his younger daughter, and that Eugenie, 35, is refusing to speak to him and did not visit him at Christmas. The Mail on Sunday notes Eugenie's work co-founding the Anti-Slavery Collective, a not-for-profit organization that tackles forced work in business supply chains. Okay. Eugenie, the Mail on Sunday says, has taken a hard line on Andrew's continued refusal to apologize to Epstein's victims. One source tells the Mail on Sunday the rift has escalated to total silence. There is no contact at all, nothing. It's Brooklyn Beckham level. She has completely cut him off. By contrast, the paper reports that Princess Beatrice is attempting what it calls a more delicate balancing act. The paper says Beatrice invited Andrew to the christening of her 11-month-old daughter, Athena, last month, but that he did not attend a pub gathering afterward. As one source puts it to the Mail on Sunday, Beatrice is trying to walk the fine line of not cutting her father off and yet remaining close with the royal family. They aren't exactly in regular and close contact at the moment, but Eugenie isn't trying to walk that line. She's not speaking to him. The estrangement comes as Andrew is under pressure to move out of Royal Lodge, with removal trucks spotted at the house last week. Trump tariff threat creates dilemma for Charles. One thing the royals hate is being drawn into politics. With Donald Trump, of course, that's hard to avoid. The UK government is under pressure to cancel King Charles's state visit to the US later this year, after Trump imposed tariffs on countries that oppose his extraordinary plan to take over Greenland, a move that allies have warned risks shattering the NATO alliance. Incredibly, Trump singled out the UK for a 10% tariff starting in February, rising to 25% from June, after the UK sent a single naval officer to join a NATO exercise in Greenland. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer seemed finally to have had enough of trying to placate Trump, saying, "Our position on Greenland is very clear. It is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and its future is a matter for the Greenlanders and the Danes. We have also made clear that Arctic security matters for the whole of NATO, and allies should all do more together to address the threat from Russia across different parts of the Arctic."
Starmer continued in quotes, "Applying tariffs on allies for pursuing the collective security of NATO allies is completely wrong. We will, of course, be pursuing this directly with the U.S. administration." UK Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy, speaking for the government Sunday, prevaricated when pressed on the state visit, referring to the depth of the transatlantic relationship. The urge not to escalate is understandable, but it would be bizarre if King Charles went ahead with the visit while Trump was threatening a Greenland takeover. Nigel Farage, a Trump sycophant and currently the favorite to be the next leader of the UK, said, in quotes, "We don't always agree with the U.S. government, and in this case, we certainly don't. These tariffs will hurt us."
Even Nigel Farage.
John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor, called the threats against Greenland the, in quotes, "most dangerous and destructive assertion of his political career." So let's be clear on something. The more people move away from powerful people, especially when it's their child or their father or their mother, the more people pull away and have less concern for consequence of association, the more Trump will continue to go after creating some kind of any sort of international domestic story he can possibly do to keep those files from coming out.
Yeah. He's right. He'll do anything. He'll distract, he'll destruct, he'll destroy, he'll... God. It's the people that are around him. Fucking Miller, why can't they do something about him? I mean, why can't they remove Miller? Why can't they do something about that asshole? The other ones, they can impeach, but I don't think they can impeach. They can order him to resign, but would he? I mean, it's also so much of a mess. Hey, TX. Good to see you. Wow, you agree with Farage. I know, it's something, eh? Look, I see a Trump flag. Kind of like being loyal to your losing team and pray for a productive draft. Oh boy. What a week, what a day, what a world, what a fucking nightmare. I mean, there's a few kind of fun moments. Let's look at this Mar-a-Lago dog costume
Despite
party.
President Trump's claims that grocery prices are, quote, going down, unquote, they're definitely not doing that. In fact, the cost of some particularly salient supermarket items have surged over the past year. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the price of beef increased by 16.4%, the price of coffee rose by 19.8%, and meanwhile, a Wall Street Journal poll finds that by 10 percentage points, more voters disapprove than approve of Trump's handling of the economy. And Trump's tone-deaf response seems to be, let them eat cake, or maybe broccoli. You may remember back in November, Trump threw a Great Gatsby party, a Great Gatsby-themed Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago mere hours before tens of millions of people lost their SNAP benefits. Well, last weekend, Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort hosted the American Humane Society's Hero Dog Awards Gala, a lavish event featuring entertainers wearing 18th century costumes and creepy dog masks. Jason is still with us. And
Jason?
It's
my side hustle. I dress up as a dog for weird Eyes Wide Shut parties.
Also joining our conversation, who we will not subject to that sort of hazing, is Natasha Sarin, professor at Yale Law School and president of the Budget Lab at Yale. Natasha, we're going to get into the numbers in a second, but first, Jason, I want to get your thoughts on this. This interesting Eyes Wide Shut as party.
I'm glad I brought that to the
I
table.
didn't have corn tortillas with my chicken and broccoli, Jim, but I did have the something else.
Number one, he talks out of both sides.
The one other thing.
He's like, the economy's doing great. It's never been better. America is back. It's booming. And then he's
those are not furries.
You only have one doll for Christmas, and every house needs one pencil. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
This is just fucking weird.
He's down 10 points, like it said.
Walls had it nailed. They're all fucking weird.
Can we just talk about how weird these parties are? Like rich people are weird, and Donald Trump is weird. And it's okay. I think it's great. Weird. But it's done in such a weird way, and it is so tone deaf. And I think it's because Donald Trump, in his mind, the economy is doing great for him. You know, there's been reports he's made $3 billion. His businesses have since he became president. So the economy is doing great for him and his wealthy friends and the guests at these parties. But for the Trump supporters that I talk to, they're not the ones being invited to these parties. They're not the ones benefiting.
Well, Natasha, is it going to help? Apparently, the president is planning to speak about affordability in just a matter of days in front of an audience at Davos. That's an audience that represents, your everyday American. No?
Davos will be fun. Do you think he'll make it? Do you think his cankles will explode mid-flight? Oh. Okay, well, if you're curious about the Canada-China EV deal.
And while some wait for the bus, others may be waiting to...
There's a, a bunch of conservatives freaking out about, it's going to kill our market, our workers in Ontario, our car industry, blah, blah, blah. But it won't.
See when they could get behind the wheel of a new Chinese electric vehicle after Canada signed a deal with the Asian nation. Prime Minister Mark Carney calling it an opportunity for Ontario and for auto workers, but some experts fear the technology could bring some risks. CTV's Natalie Van Roy joins us live in studio with the latest. Natalie.
Well, Austin, this comes only days after Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Chinese president signed an agreement that will see Canada allow Chinese electric vehicles into the country with a 6.1% tariff. But what's not clear is what specific companies Canadian officials have had contact with and what risks the move could bring for Canadians' personal data.
We've got massive screens, which is great.
Jeff Brown drives a Hyundai electric vehicle, but he wouldn't trade it in even if there were cheaper options from China.
I'd rather not, but given what's happening in the United States, it seems to me that Trump is trying to kill our industry one way or the other. So we have to look at options, and they're a good option. I've been in other countries, and they have Chinese EVs, and they seem to be functioning well there.
Canada and China signed a deal on Friday. A senior government source told CTV News that 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles will be allowed to enter Canada at a reduced tariff rate of 6.1% starting March 1st.
This is an opportunity for Ontario. It's an opportunity for Ontario workers, opportunity for Canada, done in a controlled way.
But experts are raising concerns about data.
We know that modern vehicles, especially electric vehicles, are essentially rolling computers. And so they are collecting massive amounts of data as we drive them.
There are questions around where that data is going and who has access to it.
China is a country that doesn't subscribe to the same rules of cybersecurity, of intellectual property, of copyright, and is often the case. They will install backdoors in systems that allow them to siphon off information.
Brown says data security is also his primary concern.
That's my principal concern.
While the vehicles may be cheaper, there are also concerns that allowing Chinese EVs into Canada could have an impact on the domestic market.
Clear focus on competition, but also what's the business model that's going to be taking place. Auto dealers, they represent more than 160,000 jobs in Canada.
Meanwhile, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said in a social media statement on Friday, the deal runs the risk of flooding the market with cheap Chinese EVs without guaranteed Canadian investment.
Sure. Okay, that's a pretty
Natalie Van Roy reporting live for us tonight. Natalie, thank you very much for this.
News Network, CTV. But, I mean, we basically are just allowing as many in as we used to. We just sort of didn't follow the U.S.'s demand to stop importing them. So it's a nothing burger, and it's a good thing for our auto industry. So, well, your 2006 Tucson refuses to die. You're over it, but no rust, and everything still works. GX. They're one of the best of the cheaper EVs. And as for all that spying on us nonsense, well, everything spies on us. I mean, really. And the deal in Qatar has to still be worked out a lot. What exactly it is they're going to be investing in here in Canada. Let me see what I can find. But I think Carney going on his usual whirlwind world tours is the best thing he can be doing. Although we could use him a bit more at home to discuss the actual projects he's committed to here, as far as the interprovincial trade and the pipelines and the tanker ban, and he's losing some more support in his cabinet with the leader of the Quebec party resigning. There was one in Ontario that went down, so he could spend a bit more time at home now, I would recommend, and also talk more about the supposed 300,000 citizens army corps. There's some government federal buyback program of guns that some provinces are not going to cooperate with. Okay, let me just look at the federal buyback program quickly. I say get those guns to good use. Get the citizen army armed with those guns. Manitoba won't enforce the federal gun buyback. Well, they don't have to enforce it. I don't think it's one of those enforceable things. A lot of headaches of federal gun buyback program, says Manitoba Premier. Alberta calls federal gun buyback program a gun grab. And then a minister backtracks on gun buyback remark. Government to share more details about gun buyback program. That was 3 months ago. So why are they raising it now? They're suddenly getting all upset about it. Let's see what Manitoba's beefing about here. Manitoba has other better things to worry about, like improving their infrastructure.
A federal gun buyback program won't be enforced by the province. That's according to a letter signed by Manitoba's Minister of Justice, citing concerns. And for legal gun owners, it's welcome news. Standing by live with the details tonight is CTV's Harrison Shin.
CTV News. CTV News, so fucking up Poilievre's ass.
To some opponents of this program today, what did they have to say?
Well, Marilee, they are all welcoming the decision. I spoke with a gun shop owner, and he told me he has been storing some of those banned firearms in a safe because the buyback program is offering way below what they are worth.
Recon, pump action, spring loaded.
Daryl Tomlinson shows how this shotgun works. He's a co-owner of Canadian Gun Guys in Valley Gardens. While this gun is legal, some firearms like the AR-15s are being targeted by the federal government in a buyback program. Tomlinson says they aren't paying enough.
If you had an expensive vehicle and the government banned it and wanted to give you a tenth of its value, is that a buyback or a theft?
In fact, his store is hanging on to some banned guns in a safe because the program called the Assault Style Firearms Compensation is paying out as low as 10 cents on the dollar. The premier, a gun owner himself, said the province will not be enforcing the program here.
This is a federal government program that doesn't appear to be very efficient, doesn't appear to be well run. And so for us looking at that, why would we want to take on that whole headache?
A letter sent by Manitoba Justice Minister Matt Wiebe dated Wednesday outlined the province's concerns with the program, cost, and administrative burden, saying in part the resources would be better directed towards frontline policing, saying the firearms ownership is a federal issue and Manitoba won't administer the federal government's program. Chris Benson from the Manitoba Wildlife Federation also welcomes the decision, saying the program would have affected up to 1,500 of its members.
The Manitoba Wildlife Federation would much rather see that funding directed to those entry points to prevent those illegally smuggled firearms from entering Canada.
Back at the range attached to his store, Tomlinson is happy Canoe and the province will not be involved.
My response is a happy one, for sure.
The federal government has banned more than 2,500 assault-style firearms since May 2020.
Harrison, wasn't there a pilot period over in Nova Scotia to try out this buyback program? How did that go?
Yeah, Marilee, it was a 6-week-long trial last fall over in Nova Scotia. They collected and destroyed 25 banned firearms during that period.
Okay, so it's a sucky program. Yeah, I can believe the former Liberal government did something totally tied up and gnarly, but you know, overall, it could use some updating, maybe. But why not buy them back? $25 sounds like not a lot. Anyhow, Canada can be silly sometimes, can't it? At least we're just silly and bogged down in bureaucracy and not insane. And kicking out at everyone. Oops. Hey, Fergus. We're not insane, are we? You want to play the guitar? You want to play? You have something to say? Do you have something to say? No? Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if he likes it or not. Yeah. He just likes to be up in my business. Wrench on your last chat looks like a cartoon one. How funny. Like, oh, it changed back. Oh, okay. Anyhow, I am out of here, and I got stuff to do, videos to record, and you'll be hearing more about Canada and all that stuff. I don't know if anybody's streaming later, but if they are, I will try to at least pop in and give a like and a hello. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.